if we actually did see in real life a giant UFO hovering over a large city, I think most people would be terrified rather than interested, but I guess there'll still be some scientists that will actually be interested. Photography is in its purest form a visual record, but also it can tell a story. It can grab you by the shirt and make you wonder. Science fiction writer is more focused on the story about the aliens, where they're from, what is on their mind. They're saying, where, my thing is more about the image. You could make your own story or conclusions about it, but it's not necessarily an attack, it's just maybe the ship is observing. You don't see anybody running or nothing's being destroyed. It's just kind of an alien ship visiting this planet. Who knows why any alien in his right mind would want to visit this planet? Is the ship about to attack? Hopefully not, who knows, but the stuff looks like it's from years ago anyway, so if something happened, it was in the past, so it's kind of, I guess it's not really menacing, it's more like, you don't know what is behind the minds of the people in the ship, and you just don't see any reactions. I started building models. I must have been 7 or 8 years old. Years later, I figured it would be nice to put them to work. I had the vision of using old cars to create scenes, photographs that look kind of vintage because there are vintage cars in them. Unfortunately, a lot of the cars were blown up with firecrackers, but I think a lot of us model car builders at one point blow our cars up. Looking back, I'm sure many people, including myself, see that it was not the best thing to do. But at the time, it seemed, why not? I've photographed a lot at Floyd Bennett Field in Brooklyn because the landscape is good for some of the things that I do. It's an old airfield, and parts of the airfield look like old rural highways, and I'm actually able to have an image of my model cars looking like they're traveling down the road at Floyd Bennett Field. And I create the images. I do not use computers. It's done the old photo montage way where I shoot everything separately. After it's developed, I cut and tape, put the separate images where I want. I put a glass plate over it and rephotograph it. And all the separate images that I shot, now they make up one image. Some people think it's collage, but it's not really collage in the general sense. For one thing, with my work, I never use images from other sources. Anything that's in the image I create is something that I photographed myself, which more so makes it a montage. When I was a kid years ago, I read fan magazines about the monster movies. They were using miniature models when they did those movies. They would always shoot up at that miniature model or the person in the suit to make it look that much bigger. And once you learn to work with a perspective, you can make any object look 10 times the size that it is. When they design cars, they start with models, so the real cars that we drive are actually replicas of models. The UFO that I used, about the size of a large cookie. It's good for the black and white film that I use. Some people use images from other sources like magazines, but I always had the philosophy that if I'm going to do anything, it has to come from me.